That is another lecture that you will be having for the chapter number that we're dealing is about the corporate administration. So how the administration is taking place, these are the certain things. We had a discussion about the director. Now we will move ahead and just look around what are the other things are there. The sixth point which is there is in compensation for loss of the office, right? If any director lost their office, Hana, so in that case, what will be their compensation that the company would be providing to them? A gratuitous, unjustified payment must be disclosed to all members and approved by the ordinary resolution. What does unjustified payment means? Something that you are thinking that when you're giving at the time of the termination, so you're giving a lump sum amount to him, Hana, any director, to him, be it in her, him or him. So whatever the amount that you're giving is basically the payment that you're making to them. So you just have to disclose that, okay?
Okay, sir.
You just have to disclose that. Sometime what happened, for example, the compensation comes out to be the 10 million, okay? But you think, okay, let's give 12 million, Hana? But in a company, you cannot say, let's, I decided, let's give 12 million. This is how not you will do justification of 2 extra million, Hana? So whatever you have paid,
Yes.
that need to be justified, that need to be disclosed. So that unjustified payment of 2 million need to be disclosed. Disclosed means need to be open up to all of the members of the company, and that need to be approved by the ordinary resolution. Is that okay?
Sir, can you explain the meaning of ordinary resolution once more?
Would it be okay if you just speak a little louder because I'm not able to hear you out? Hello. You were saying something?
Could you
I
explain
just want you to
ordinary resolution?
ordinary resolution, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, brother. So there are the three type of resolution you would be having. One is a ordinary, okay, and one would be a special one, huh? What do you take, or what is your take on this meaning as an ordinary one? What do you understand by the ordinary one as in? Hmm? Somewhere there?
Ordinary, it is like
Something very
not
simple or very frequent and normal course of that happens in the normal course of action, right? Has you seen like ordinary people that just like another one, huh? Hana? Special something
yes.
that is very rare or that is very like very need a high attention thing, Hana? Something very special.
Okay.
So do you understand what is this ordinary or special meaning? Even if I have explained this to you, the meaning ordinary or special, so you just have to think that way. Ordinary means very normal thing that is happening, okay? So resolution is basically whenever you have to take a decision of anything, you are not only the single person who is will be the main decision taker in a company. You have to take the approval from the higher authority of yours, right? So you need an approval from them, Hana?
Yes.
If you're doing something, so you need a resolution. You just have to, when you have looking for a solution, so you just need to come up with a something. Resolution is basically the process when you're seeking the approval from the parties, right? So
Okay, sir.
any decision which is of the ordinary nature, we require an ordinary resolution for that. If anything is which is of a special nature, we require a special resolution for that. Is that clear?
Yes.
One thing is that. Second thing, as a name suggests, is special. So for this 75% voting right should be there, Hana? Otherwise, how it would be special one? For an ordinary, you just
Okay.
need more than 50%. Is it okay?
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes.
So would you please explain these two terms to me quickly so that we can move ahead in the session?
So when a problem arises in the company or they have to make a decision in the company, they will either use ordinary resolution or special resolution. In ordinary resolution, uh, like the person who is taking the decision, like he can give it normally, but in special resolution, it needs 75% requirement until he takes the decision from all the members of the organization.
Okay, all right. And if we talk about the second thing, which is that, have you talked about the percentage 50% and 75%? Have you given the reference of the same 75% and 50%?
I
For an
don't think
ordinary
so.
resolution, you have 50%, or special resolution will require 70%. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Hmm. Now we will talk about the compensation. So you have understood the point over here. Do I need to explain this again? Or if there is a requirement, then do let me know. Or even I'm
No, sir.
starting with this, that is not a problem. So compensation for the loss of the office. If any director who is losing their office or losing their position in a company, so what is the compensation that is going to be provided to them? Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So what is the compensation that you're going to provide it to them? So graticuous is basically the term that you will learn in your ATX paper further on, but is basically the same example of I just gave to you 12 million and dot, and that needs to be disclosed. If it does not get approval, the director hold payment on trust of the company. Okay. So if the director does not get approval, in that case, the directors will be the person who will hold the payment on trust for the company. Okay. What does it mean? That in that case, the director might be liable to pay whatever the additional payment he has made to. Huh? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Without approval, one cannot give the payment. If it is an ordinary resolution which need to be there, and if the 50% of the people are not even ready with your decision, so why are you taking the decision? Hana? Otherwise, if you're doing so, then in that case, you have to pay the penalties or whatever the price you are paying to that person. In the director, we have understood what that is. It isn't part of the corporate administration, and we've been through the appointment. Now we will just look around what is the disqualification of the director. But the disqualification, it does mean that as per the model article, the director must vacate. Vacate means vacate means
Leave their office.
Abhi, I
Empty their
wanted to
office.
ask a one question to you. If you have a company, okay, will you hire a director who is bankrupt? Hmm? Hello,
Yes, sir.
hello. Will you hire a director who is in bankrupt?
No, sir.
Exactly. So if the director becomes bankrupt in their personal domain, so how you can trust them? He will be doing good for your company. Huh? If he can not take care of himself, so how are you going to take care of your company? Hana? The
Yes, sir.
Companies Director Disqualification Act and list means list the different criterias under which a director can be disqualified. That is the same thing. Include three distinct. यहाँ पे there are the three distinct categories are there. General misconduct in the connection with the company. Carrying out a serious offense. Offense means something. What do you understand by the offense?
Like, you've done something bad.
Offense something that should not have been done, huh? In a connection to company management or either in the UK or overseas. In that case, the director might become an disqualified, and that is persistent breach of the rule. So there was a Companies Act. If the directors are not following the Companies Act 2006, it does mean that they have done the offense with the company's rule regulation, and that does mean that they can become the disqualified director. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Second point is the disqualification for the unfit. If an investigation conducted by the Department for the Business, Energy and Industry Strategy finds a director unfit to be involved into the management of the company, in that case, they can become the disqualified. If the liquidator reports find a director unfit to be involved in the management, the same thing. Unfit means they are not able to give, they are not able to work into the company. So why they will be keeping, or why we will be going to take care of them? Huh? Hana? Why are we going to keep them into a business?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then we talk about the other causes. So, what are the other causes which are there? If the director takes part in a wrongful or fraudulent trading where undischarged bankrupt has been acting as a director, for example, there is a bankrupt director who is acting as a director, in that case, they can become another reason. A person who is acting on the behest of the disqualified director. What does it mean?
A person is acting on the behalf of the disqualified director.
This is on the behalf. I think what they have given.
So,
I just need to check what does behest. Behest. This is a new word for me as well. It does mean a person or personal orders or command. So can I say that if person who is acting, even though when they're disqualified actor, or when they're acting on the way what a disqualified actor, that in that case they would be mean as in the other causes of becoming the disqualified director. Is it okay? So what are the three reasons when you are carrying out a serious offense in connection to the company's management in the UK or overseas? Remember, a question would be there. A question might say that would does it mean if some person who is working or in an offense in connection to a company management outside the UK, will that can be become a disqualified? Yes, in that case also. Okay. So they might try to fetch you about the overseas. Okay. Because ultimately, so this is more specific word to the law paper that I'm discussing. In a law paper, a one question might be there: if someone who has done some offense outside the UK, will they be considered as a disqualified actor in the UK? Yes, because no matter where they're doing offense, does mean whenever whatever no matter in which company you're doing, whether they are, if having a habituality of that doing that certain things, if you are not able to do manage those things, in that case you will be considered as a disqualified one. If a director breach or ignore a disqualification order, in that case, it is a criminal offense which could lead to the fine and imprisonment. Okay, imprisonment means the disqualified director become personally liable for the debt of the company. Wonderful. For example, if the disqualified director is still acting in their capacity, Hana, or that lead a company to be in debt, in that case, the director will be the one who will become personally liable. Now we will just go through what are the rules for the removal of director. A company can kick out a director before his term expire by ordinary resolutions in spite of its article any agreement. In spite of means even though these are certain things which are there, even though his term has not been expired, but a company can kick out a director, okay, through the use of ordinary resolution. The director could sue the company if his removal is in the breach of the contract. The director has a right to sue the company, but company can kick out them. A special notice of 28 days. So remember, they are the things. Special notice, okay? Special notice is a different thing from the special resolution, okay? Is it clear? So do not get confused in between the
Yes,
two.
sir.
A special notice of 21 8 days must be sent to the directors who the company or the board of directors wish to move. Yeah, 8 days should have been home. So there's some errors, but those are very minor errors you can work on. What is the requirements? What is the requirement to remove a director? Ordinary resolution with a special notice? A special resolution with an ordinary notice, or what do you think? Which one would be the answer on this? Can you able to see the four options? Can you
Yes, sir.
help with this question to me? With me?
Ordinary resolution, option A.
Good. Because ordinary resolution with a special notice of 28 days, है ना? That need to be taken care of. If you're
Yes,
doing someone, in that case, you can remove. Is it okay? If I
yes,
talk
sir.
about the division of the power, in that case, what you will be doing? So why do you think that companies do have a director? As a company may have 1,000 or hundred of thousand of shareholders, it is not practicable, feasible to have a mechanism which allow all members to vote simultaneously, right? The scheduled time for the voting will be defined, not be definitely not be possible for all the members. Obviously, because ultimately there are thousands of the director. You cannot call them at the same meeting to vote them. Even electronically, you cannot ask them to vote at the same time, है because everyone would be having a different life. The person of such vote would take a very long time and hence greatly delayed business decisions. So, what the shareholder do is that from among themselves they choose certain well qualified people to run the business on their behalf. These people are selected by the shareholder from the BOD. Okay. The legal theory is that all decisions about the running of the company business should be taken by the member in general meeting. However, the members usually delegate the power to manage the business to directors and they exercise all the power of the company to a day-to-day business. Director are required to exercise their power in accordance with the company constitutions. The board as a whole has the power to manage the company, not an individual director. Wow. Director are not an agent of the shareholders, hence the member have no right to interfere in the decisions of the board members. Directors are the agent of the company, but Hana?
Yes.
Hmm. Or as
So
an
members of the
whole
company,
whole management, whole management isn't what isn't responsible for the shareholders. So I just need to remind the thing that is there. I think that might have created a problem for you. For an example, if you're someone who's a sole entrepreneur, okay, you are the single owner or director in a company. In that case, you will be the owner, and you probably will not be having any relationship of agent and principal. Yes or no? Hana?
yes,
Mm, okay. Now the board of directors is basically the agent of the company or company's owners. So, example, this is something that they would be having. It could be that individual director might not be there, has an hold. So, in this case, you will be having executive directors, you would be having non-executive directors, right? Hana?
yes,
Keeping this point in a loop, I just wanted to discuss what is the point there. Directors are not the agent of the shareholders, since the member has a no right to influence in the decisions of the board. When someone is a principal, they direct the agent. Hana? Basically, they gave the authority to themselves that you can work on, or you basically they just ask them what is the role and what is the things that need to be done. I hope if you remember the principal and agent relationship, that is an agency relationship. So the board of director and principal board of director and the shareholders owners basically do form a agency relationship. A single director would not be there, and the statement which is stating that the members would not be having an decisions of whatever the board is taking, but they are responsible and accountable to the shareholder. Is it okay?
yes.
Sometime you will see there is one more word that is going to be used. Do you know what does it mean? These two one.
Stewardship means the ones who are sitting on top, like the owners of the company.
Stewardship means basically this is the represent the relationship which has been the owners or the directors. Or what do you think about? Or it is a relationship between the directors or the company, because as a company or as a shareholder of the company, I'm giving my resources to someone to manage them. Huh? So there's an accountability responsibility. That thing is going to be managed by the stewardship relationship, and that talks about that the management or the people of the management or the whosoever is working under the management are responsible to take care of the asset of the company, to take care to give or take the decisions in the best interest of the company. You know? So the stewardship,
Yes,
the fiduciary duty, and agency relationship are basically more of the certain things that are going to be used simultaneously. Okay. Hmm? Stewardship
yes,
or fiduciary duty is something you will file more when you're discussing about the corporate things, management, corporate, shareholder. Huh? When you're talking about the lower firms like partnership or just a normal relationship, then agency word is used. Is that okay?
yes,
Because in an agency relationship there is an dictatorship, something like that, huh? There is an influence or interference by the director or the principal in the working of the agent, huh? which is there in the which is also there, but ultimately board of directors are somewhat more educated than the shareholder. This is something very genius thing that you know, Hana. Most of the cases this is something you will find, exceptions are there. So in that case you require to take yourself into the decisions, you have to take care of that the decisions which the parties are going to take or the decisions the management are going to take will be in the bona fide manner of the company. In the that would be then the best interest of the company, so they would not be requiring the more disturbance. So this is why we call as an stewardship. The dictatorship or the influence or the interference is lesser in the when you call the word stead stewardship or the fiduciary duty. Yeah? But the fiduciary they have a direct pinpoint on the accountability and responsibility. Is that okay? Hello, are you there?
Yes.
What is the second point? We will see if there is any other point that we can discuss other over here. Is that okay? That is coming inside the agency, है ना? Is this okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Read this.
Yes.
This is more used when you are discussing about the management, okay? Hmm? And here you can see the responsible management, care, oversight of something valuable that one is entrusted with. What does it mean? That one is entrusted means the as a shareholder, I has entrusted my properties to you, and you are responsible to take care of these things, है ना? So this is what you will use as an stewardship. Abhi, if we can just look at the difference between the three, so it would be give us a good idea of this certain things. Huh? The difference. समझ रहे हो ना what we are discussing? Samvit,
Yes.
कोई problem तो नहीं है?
No, sir.
Managerial behavior, okay?
Yes.
A contrast sharply. Contrast means something going against. Hana? Contrary means something against. Hana? Okay? With the
Yes,
agency
sir.
theory, by assuming the managers are stewardship. Is that okay? Read this.
Yes. A CEO who concurrently holds the chairman role and empowers collaborative decision making to ensure aligned roles goals.
Done? Any doubt on this?
Yes.
Or can we proceed?
We can proceed.
All the certain restrictions put powers in the hand of the members. Some actions require special resolutions. The member can remove a director by ordinary resolution if they believe their opinions aren't heard. By passing a special resolution, the member can make the changes to the article of association, but memorandum of association would not be changed. This could therefore be used to restrict the director's power. Is that okay? Then we will learn about the masters requiring approval of meetings in a general meeting. A director serves contract which lasts for more than 2 years should be approved by the members. Okay, if there is a service contract जहाँ पे ये है कि director जो है that would be there for more than 2 years, that need to be approved. A substantial property transaction that need to be matters requiring approval. Okay, in general meeting. In that case, this would be the first one. Second one, this given director acquire from company or vice versa substantial non-cash asset. An asset is substantial if a substantial means something big asset. Okay, it value exceed 1 lakh or it value exceed 10% of the company's asset value or it has a value of more than 5,000. If a member approval cannot be obtained, the, the transaction is voidable unless the member approval received within the reasonable time. Is that okay? The director is liable to account to the company for any gain or indemnify it against and the losses. All this need to learn this point and nothing else. Loans to the director or guaranteed provided as security for loan to directors must be approved by the matters. Anything you'd like to ask or can we proceed? that the director service which is more than 2 years need to be approved, and these things, substantial property transfer need to be approved, and loan to director or guarantee which is there need to be approved in the general meeting. And any non-contractual payment made to directors as a result of the loss of the office must be approved. That is unjustified, है ना? Is it okay?
Yes.
Now we'll learn about what is an authority of director. Individual director cannot bind the company without being given the authority to do so. There are the three ways in which the authority may be given: express, Hana, and express all decisions are binding. Implied, here the person authority is implied by his position. A managing director is implied authority to bind the company just like a board. Apparent and observable, it does mean how do you appear. By how do you appear, it does mean that how you're looking forward, what is your position, that is going to be affected by that. The authority will be depending on that. So such authority arises where a director is held out by the other board members and having authority to bind the company. For example, there are the two peoples, A and B, and A is the director of the company, B is not a director of the company, but A, whenever goes anywhere in the meetings, claim that B is the director. In that case, if B would be making a decision, in that case he would be the up he would be given authority by the apparent and obstacle. Is it okay? Is it okay,
Yes.
Samit? Then we'll learn about the transition beyond the board powers. The power of the director is to bind the company or to authorize another to bind the company will not be limited by anything in the company constitution, provided the company party is acting in the good faith. Even where there is an actual knowledge of the lack of authority, this is not enough to count as lack of the good faith. So on the face of it, any contract entered into by the board of the company will be binding. Where, however, the third party transaction is also a director of the company or a person associated with the director, the transaction become voidable at the company's instance. So, do you know what does voidable means?
No, sir.
Cancelable.
Okay.
Moreover, the third party director or associate and director who authorized the transaction is then liable to compensate the company for any loss made, any profit made indefinitely by the company for any loss or damages arising whether the company chooses to avoid. So this is a big paragraph. Would it be okay if we just give it a simple reading and just see what are the things I could explain in this to you? Otherwise,
Yes, sir.
it's just from the more reading. Just give it a simple reading, then I will explain. Do not take a more than 1 minute, okay? Samvit, is that okay? Can we proceed now? Something you would like to ask?
No, sir.
Duties of the directors. Duty to act within the power. And for obviously anybody who is there, they has to act within the power. A director must act in the accordance with the company constitutions. Director has a fiduciary duty to take the decisions which he considers to be best interest of the company. Okay, that is also known as a bona fide interest of the company. Is that okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Second thing that you will be learning is that director has a fiduciary duty to take the decisions which he considered to be the best interest of the company. If this rule is not adhered to, the transaction will be voidable. It does mean that if the director are acting in such a way that they are not considering their fiduciary duty towards the company and the shareholder, in that case, whatever the transaction that they're making will become void, cancelled, unless it is approved by the shareholder. The same thing that is you see in the agency relationship, है ना? यही चीज पढ़ी थी ना हमने वहां पे,
Yes.
कि अगर
Yes.
अपना एजेंट अगर कुछ पावर, इफ ही गो बियॉन्ड टू हिज पावर, तो जो प्रिंसिपल है उसे एक बार अप्रूव करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज अनलेस वो इट विल बिकम द पर्सनल लायबिलिटी ऑफ द एजेंट, है ना? Duty to promote the success of the company. A director must act in the good faith, promote the success of the company, and for the benefit of the member in general. As per the Companies Act 2006, the concept of enhanced shareholder value require the director to regard these things: the probable consequence of their decisions in the long terms, interest of the company's employee. So, what will be the interest of the company's employees in that need to be taken care by? That need to be taken care by who we are talking to? That need to be taken care under the director, because it will be the duty to promote the success of the company, and that need to be taken care by the duties of the director. Okay, so this is the second duty under which we are reading this point. And how the, and that says that the concept of enhanced shareholder value require the director to record. What does mean? कि जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना कि इनहेंस शेयर होल्डर, अपन शेयर होल्डर की वेल्थ को कैसे इनहेंस कर सकते हैं, तो उसमें जो वाला पॉइंट है, ये वाला पॉइंट है, वो ये ऐसे बोलता है कि जो डायरेक्टर है ना, उसको ये सारी चीज़ों का ध्यान रखना पड़ता है. अगर इफ द डायरेक्टर इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ ऑल दो थिंग्स, इन दैट केस व्हाट कुड हैपन, व्हाट द बेस्ट कुड हैपन इज दैट कि शेयर होल्डर की जो वेल्थ है और शेयर होल्डर की जो वैल्यू है दैट विल इंक्रीज. इज दैट ओके?
Yes.
Then we have a probable consequences of their decisions in the long terms. Interest of the company's employees, foster relationship with the external stakeholders, the communal and environmental impact of the company decisions, desirability of the company maintaining a reputation for high standard of the business conducted, need to act with a fairness between the company's member. All this is a simple point now. Companies may have a wider purpose than just a benefit of the member, such as charitable companies and community interest. So wow, so कभी कभी you will see that charitable companies are there, community interest companies are there. वहाँ पे क्या होता है कि जो charitable companies होती है ना, they just look forward to how they can provide the benefit to the society, है ना? Community interest companies होती है ना, उनमें क्या देखा जाता है कि जो community के जो लोग हैं ना, उनके लिए कुछ कैसे कुछ लोग कर सकते हैं. तो वो सारी चीज अपन को देखनी पड़ेगी. और कंपनीज के कुछ ज्यादा मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि चैरिटेबल कंपनीज ही हैं, बस कम्युनिटी इंटरेस्ट कंपनीज है, देयर सम अदर फॉर्म ऑफ द कंपनीज. हाँ, सो वी हैव टू कंसिडर फ्रॉम each one of the perspective of the company. Okay, then we have to duty to exercise independent judgment. Director एक independence बंदा होना चाहिए. It should not be influenced by any individual who is also working into the company. Is that okay? This duty is
Yes.
not infringed by the director acting in accordance with the agreement duly within with accordance with the agreement duly entered into by the company that restrict the future exercise of the of discretion by the directors in a way authorized by the company constitution. In accordance with an agreement duly entered by into by the company that restrict the future exercise of the district discretions by its director in a way authorized by the company constitution. So what do you mean to say? कि there will be some limitations against which the director should not behave. मतलब कुछ limitations हैं जिनमें डायरेक्टर को याद रखना कि he is not going beyond to them. हाँ, कुछ एग्रीमेंट हुआ था डायरेक्टर और कंपनी के बीच में, entered by the company, that will restrict the future exercise of discretions by its director. कुछ ऐसी एक्सरसाइज स्टॉप की गई थी दैट डायरेक्टर वुड यूजली डू, कि वो डायरेक्टर ना करे, एंड दैट इज थ्रू द एग्रीमेंट. ओके, वो इसलिए की गई थी कि वो ही विल नॉट गो अगेंस्ट of what is authorized by the company constitution. Okay, constitution is a main document, like you know. Then we have a duty to exercise a reasonable care, skill, and diligence. The reasonable test consists of the two elements: an objective test and subjective test. A question might be there on this. A director in carrying out his functions must show such care as could be reasonably expected from the competent person in that role. Lack of expertise cannot be claimed of defense for the director. Okay, lack of expertise cannot be claimed of defense. Director cannot say कि मुझे experience नहीं था. So why you in that position? है ना? Director should carry out his function and must show care as could reasonably expected from the competent person in that role. कहने का मतलब है if you are someone who is in the position of the director, तो आपको उसकी तरह behave करना पड़ेगा. अब that person who's that current director cannot claim कि मैं मुझे experience नहीं है, just recently joined. No, this is something not going to be heard out. This is something not going to be entertained. Okay. Subjective test is that an expected director is expected to show the degree of skill which can be reasonably expected from the person of his caliber and experience. कि जो डायरेक्टर है ना उसके पास इतनी एक्सपर्टीज और कैलेबल होना चाहिए जो एक बंदा पढ़ के आता. फॉर एग्जांपल डायरेक्टर ने एमबीए किया था. फॉर समवन हु इज डूइंग एमबीए, समवन हु इज डन सीएफए सीएमए, तो आप उनसे क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हो जब उन्हें हाँ हायर करते हो कि भाई इसने ये चीज करी है तो इसे बहुत सारी चीज आती होंगी. तो ही शुड बी हैव ए कैलेबल और एक्सपीरियंस, राइट? This is what your subjective test and objective test. So these two tests need to be there. And this is how you assess that DT to exercise the reasonable care, skill, and diligence. Is that okay? We are less than a minute now and would
Yes.
like to join the class again. We will take a break now and we'll join it 1:45. Is that okay? Because we just need to complete this chapter. So let's take a break, a long break, so that we can cover that, come back and join this and complete this. Okay?
So how much time?
We'll join at 1:45.
Okay.